The Book Channel Online.
Hi, I'm Max Rodriguez with the Book Channel Online. We're at the Harlem Book Fair today, and we're joined by author and illustrator Andrew LINDO, author of Black History Activity books. And he joins us from Birmingham, UK, United Kingdom. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi Max, how you doing?
Most well, thank you. So tell us please about your books.
Well, basically my books are fun-based learning for children. So basically they're activity books, and there's a range of 10 books. Each book goes through the life of the individual with a range of activities. So as a young person goes through the book, they get to learn and have fun. This is about Nanny of the Maroons, and on every page there's a little bit of information and an activity to go with it. So as the reader goes through the book, they get to learn and have fun. This talks about when Nanny defeated the British Army, and they learnt tactics from her, like ambushing and camouflage. She defeated the army so many times and cost the British millions by disrupting the trade lines that they eventually had to surrender to her. They then granted her land that the Maroons still have to this day in Jamaica. The books all follow a very similar pattern, where at the end of each book there's a word search and a quiz just to summarize what they've learned.
That's very nice. So you have married activities, fun activity, word searches, follow the dots with history.
That's right.
And having followed the dots, you learn a story about someone you may not have known before.
Well, I knew about Nanny because
Well,
I'm
not
Jamaican.
you.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. The
Good.
readers definitely will.
You mentioned something that the Maroons, taught the British camouflage.
That's correct.
Now, I've never heard that before.
So at the time, the British Army used to wear these big red jackets and white trousers. So that was the uniform. So at the time, this is how the British used to be dressed.
Great targets.
So the Maroons would see them a mile off. And then what they'd do is they'd cover themselves in the leaves, hide in the bushes, and wait for them to come out. So as soon as the British soldiers would pass, they'd jump out and attack. So they was under-resourced, but they used their intelligence and their wit to outwit the British, which were the superpower at the time.
Well, let's take a step back. Who were the Maroons?
The Maroons were basically, they were slaves taken from West Africa that was taken to Jamaica, and what they did was they escaped straight away. They went into the Blue Mountain Hills, or the hills or the countryside of Jamaica, and they were called Maroons because they were runaways. So it was derived from the like runaway horses or cattle, so that's what it was named after, because it was rebellious.
So how does one find these books? Because they're very fascinating. You said they are a series of 10, is that right?
Yeah, so it's currently a series of 10.
And I know that Aunt Nanny is the best-selling, but what are some of the other personalities you cover?
Oh, so we have people like Marcus Garvey, Bob Marley, Huey P. Newton, which is another good seller, Rosa Parks, we've got Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X. So they're the titles for now.
I noticed that they are either uncle or auntie.
That's correct.
So tell us about this family that you are embracing us in.
So it literally is a family. These are all the ancestors, for one. For two, it's better when we refer to them as uncle and auntie out of respect. But not only that, we take away this massive title that there's someone that they can't achieve what they did. So knowing that these are people that they can relate to means they can do all the great things, if not better, that they have. So it's instilling that into them from young, that they themselves can achieve great things.
So you are the publisher, you are the author, and you are also the illustrator.
That's correct.
Talented indeed.
Oh, thank you.
But tell us about the illustration, how you've come to create the illustrations for this. What's the process?
So what I'll do is I will either use pictures of the individual, or I'll get figures similar. So I will use a mixture of hand-rendered illustrations, and then what I do is I vectorize them on the computer, which is just a graphic term basically. It just allows me to manipulate the image a lot more easier, and then basically I put everything together.
Are you an artist?
I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I just use the skills that I have to lay the books out, to do the illustrations and to typeset everything, and then I do the marketing material around it as well.
Let's talk about Black History Month. We have a conversation about what Black History Month here is in the United States in February. Tell us about Black History Month in the UK.
So in the UK, we have our Black History Month in October. Depending on what city you're in, we do a range of different things. So a lot of Pan-Africans will do things on the Pan-African movement, or there'll be more things that are geared towards the Americans. But what a lot of people tend to do is it's quite global. So we talk about people in Africa, people in the UK that have been doing things, because our history not only goes back to the 1950s when the Windrush happened, but there were people that came back that were there from maybe the 16th century or the 17th century. So we also focus on people like that. So we have Black history from a slightly different angle. So it's a bit more global.
Very good. How does one find your book here in the US?
So the books are online. You can get them from our website, which is www.blackhistoryactivitybooks.com, or they're in sale in several bookshops in the New York area or throughout the US on the East Coast. So we're currently working on getting more outlets throughout the US.
Thank you so much. I wish you great success. I love the idea. I love how you've married activity into a history, a story that we can learn from. Not just children, but we all love wordplay, and there it is.
Yeah,
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Andrew Lindo, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I'm Max Rodriguez with the Book Channel Online at the Harlem Book Fair in New York.